Hi everybody. So let us start with the second module on the course of Big Data Analytics. This module is about NoSQL databases. The agenda of this course is to understand what are NoSQL databases, why to use NoSQL databases, and when to use NoSQL databases. Then we will be discussing about examples of NoSQL databases, characteristics of NoSQL databases, then CAP theorem, acid properties that were in relational database, but in NoSQL databases we have these properties. We are not having any acid properties in NoSQL. Then we will be discussing about the major features that are used to compare SQL and NoSQL, scaling in databases, that is horizontal and vertical scaling. Then database sharding. This is very important topic, database sharding. After that, we will wind up with this first part of second module, that is categories of NoSQL databases. Under categories, we will be discussing about the types of NoSQL databases like document databases, graph-based databases, wide column, etc. After that, we will move on to hands-on practice with MongoDB. We will discuss about advantages of MongoDB, then installation, environmental setting variables of MongoDB, creating and dropping collections and documents in it, and then practice sessions on insertion and selection in MongoDB. So let us firstly discuss about what is NoSQL. So when people use the term NoSQL database, they typically use it to refer to any non-relational database. Some may say that this is the term which stands for non-SQL, or it may also be called as not only SQL. Either way, most of the people agree that NoSQL databases are databases that store data in the form which is not in relational form, means other than the relational tables. A common misconception is that NoSQL databases or non-relational databases don't store relational data well. So most of the people are saying NoSQL databases are not able to store any relational data well. But remember the term, it is NoSQL, that is not only SQL. It means SQL features will still be there. That is, NoSQL database will store the data in the form of relational also, as well as semi-structured data, and unstructured data will also be stored in NoSQL databases. So these databases can store relationship among the data. They just store it differently than the relational databases. Like in RDBMS, we store the data and the relationship among the data in tabular form. But in NoSQL databases, we again will be storing the relational data, but in a different way. In fact, when compared with SQL databases, many find modeling relationships data in NoSQL databases to be easier as compared to SQL databases, because related data doesn't have to be split between tables. So whenever we create tables in relational databases, we have to model it using either ER diagram or UML diagram or any type of diagram. Then after that, we decide how many relations should be there, what will the various categories. It means we have to define the schema in advance. So our RDBMS and SQL were schema based, and NoSQL is schema less. It doesn't, NoSQL don't have any predefined schema, whereas SQL have predefined schema. So in case of NoSQL databases, we need not to separate the database uh, into different tables like we do with the help of normalization in RDBMS. So there is no such thing like normalization exists in the NoSQL databases. So NoSQL data models allow related data to be nested within a single data structure. Such databases have existed since late 1960s. They came into existence in 1960s, but the name NoSQL was only coined and it becomes famous only in the 21st century when the cost for storage of data was dramatically increasing. Then the challenge comes: utilize the space, store the big data, and decrease the cost also. So then at that came NoSQL databases came into existence. Those days are gone when we had to create complex data which was difficult to manage. Data models simply for the purpose of reducing data duplication. Earlier when we were using relational databases RDBMS, then our main purpose was to model the data, that is to remove redundancy. While studying RDBMS, we have studied that a purpose is reduce the redundancy. But these are the databases that are not dealing or not concerned with the problem of redundancy. They are creating the databases in a very good manner, and all such problems are not occurring while we are using NoSQL databases. So developers were becoming the primary cost of the software development. So NoSQL databases optimized for developers' productivity. So this is just a basic overview which we will be studying about NoSQL databases when we will be studying what is NoSQL databases during this session. So have a look at history. We have already discussed about it. NoSQL databases is not a new occurrence in the world of software technology. They were existing, but they came into existence properly in 21st century. So the common layouts are four categories we will be discussing, that is wide column, document, key based, and graph. So other layouts are also possible: key value cache, key value store, tuple store, object databases, native multimedia, multimodal databases. These are also existing, but our main focus is on the common layouts, that are the four: wide column, document, key value, and graph, that we will be discussing in detail. So common use cases in NoSQL databases are storing clickstream data, that is quickly store the data. Application logging, because whenever a person is viewing any product, the record is to be stored, his logs is to be maintained. Like whenever he has logged in, whenever he has logged out, how many times he has viewed, whether he has liked some product, likewise. So content management is also there, and monitoring systems should be there. Web and mobile applications, and there are many other use cases for NoSQL databases. So as per Wikipedia, a NoSQL originally refers to as non-SQL or non-relational database. It provides a mechanism for storage and retrieval of data that is modeled in means other than the tabular relations used in relational databases. So basically it is designed for the distributed data stores. Earlier we were focused on central, that was client server, but if in reality we have to see our surroundings, then we are working in distributed databases. So these NoSQL databases are designed for distributed data stores where very large scale of data storing needs. For example, Google or Facebook, Twitter, and many more sites which collects terabytes of data every day for their users. So these are not possible to manage with SQL databases. We have to switch to NoSQL databases. These types of data storing may not require fixed schema. They avoid join operations because the data is not separated into tables. So we need not to use the join operation to retrieve data from various different tables because data is in a single file. And typically we use the horizontal scalability. We will discuss horizontal scalability which do wonders. We will be discussing them at later stage. So whenever someone listen about the term or hear about the term NoSQL, the question comes into mind, why NoSQL? What is NoSQL? When to use NoSQL? So we are already familiar with what is NoSQL. Let us discuss why NoSQL. So the current era is based on distributed computing. You might have studied many articles about distributed computing. If you work on latest distributed technology, or we call Bitcoin technology, any other such technologies that are existing, all that are distributed computing. Distributed computing is just like parallel processing. A task is distributed at multiple servers so that faster response we can get. If one of the server gets down, we can retrieve it from other server. At the same time, a task can be divided into different modules and can be distributed over the network to get faster response and shortening the delay time. So relational databases were not built for distributed applications. The major problem was distributed applications were difficult to implement with the traditional RDBMS. The reason was joins were expensive because in RDBMS we separated a database into different relations, and whenever we want to retrieve the data we have to use the joins. And we have also studied about the cost of join, cost of joins, cost of theta join, cost of natural join, cost of equi join, query processing and all. So in that case joins were very expensive. So hard to even horizontal scaling was difficult with RDBMS. Impedance mismatch also occurs. When we discussed about disadvantages of object-oriented database, sorry, advantages of the object-oriented databases, and we discussed about impedance mismatch also. That is the data type mismatch, which is not occurring in object-oriented databases. Let me explain once again what is impedance mismatch. Suppose we are using traditional RDBMS as a backend, and we are developing an application in Java like programming language, which is object-oriented programming language. Then the code is written in the form of object. And when we want to store it into RDBMS, then those objects have to be mapped into relational tables, which was very much difficult. And then there are certain problems that is known as impedance mismatch. So if the data is stored as it is without changing into rows and columns, then the impedance mismatch problem will be overcome. And they are also expensive. Product cost was high, hardware and maintenance was quite high in case of RDBMS. And even it's weak in speed, performance. They work slowly because a single server is responding to all the clients. So speed was low. Availability was an issue because when data is at a single server, that server gets down, then the data will not be available at that time. Server is not there to work for that task. Partition tolerance, we will discuss in detail in later in the coming sessions. That is partition tolerance is whenever the data is partitioned into different servers, the task is divided, then the partition, one partition may be working, another may not be working, then it should be able to tolerate that. So why NoSQL databases? The answer is diving trends. If someone asks you why NoSQL databases now, currently, why? Then the best answer in this case is diving technologies. We are diving into multiple technologies. There are many new trends. We talk about big data, connectivity, peer-to-peer knowledge, concurrency, diversity, cloud grid. Cloud grid, you all know. Connectivity, we know any social site. Big data, we have discussed in our previous session, how the data is growing. Concurrency, that is parallel processing, that is distributed environment. Peer-to-peer connectivity, which is the best example for your Bitcoins also. Diversity, some type of data may be multimedia, some may be text data, some may be XML data. There are many types of data. So data is diverse in nature. So if we talk about the connectivity issue or peer-to-peer knowledge issue, then we say explosion of social media series like Facebook, Twitter, Google with large data needs. It leads to need of NoSQL databases. Rise of cloud-based solutions such as Amazon S3, this simple storage solution. Just as moving to dynamically typed language like Ruby or Groovy, a shift to dynamically typed data with frequent schema changes. Expansion of open source community. Then we can also say NoSQL solution is more acceptable to a client now than years ago. So if we say where to use NoSQL databases, then the answer is NoSQL data storage systems make sense for applications that process very large semi-structured data that may be in the form of logs, social networking feeds, time-based data, Twitter fields. Likewise, at the same time, if you want to improve programmers' productivity by using a dataset that better matches the application needs, like you have worked in object-oriented programming languages, then there should be a backend database that should be similar to your front end also. That is, it should match application's needs. It means removing the impedance mismatch. So if we want to improve data access performance via some combination of handling target data volumes, if you want to reduce latency, faster retrieval we want, and we want to improve the throughput, then we need to use NoSQL databases. So here are few examples of NoSQL databases. There is MongoDB. We will be doing hands-on practice on MongoDB as I have promised with you. Then Apache HBase. This is the database that is supported by Hadoop. And we will be discussing hands-on sessions and the practice queries and projects on Apache HBase also. Then Redis is there. Cassandra is there. You might have heard about Cassandra. And then we have Amazon DynamoDB. Amazon is using its own database, that is Amazon DynamoDB. Then Neo4j, CouchDB is there. There are many other databases also. So now let us discuss characteristics of NoSQL databases. NoSQL databases avoids overhead of ACID transactions. These are not supported by NoSQL databases, which were supported by SQL databases. Complexity of SQL query was high. This is not needed. Burden of upfront schema design. While using SQL databases, we need to design schema in advance. That was a burden. Predefined schema was needed, and this is not required in NoSQL databases. We can design a database as we like. DBA should not be present all the time. Transaction should be handled at the application layer. It also provides easy and frequent changes to database, fast development, large data volumes like Google. It is also schemaless. So these are the features of NoSQL databases. It provides high scalability. Scalability we will discuss in detail. High availability because whenever data is scattered at different sites, it is distributed at different sites, it can be recoverable from all the other sites. Performance is fast because all the servers are processing parallelly. Data can be replicated at multiple sites very fast, easily and quickly. Big data capability is there to handle big data. These are the few features of NoSQL databases. And here comes the CAP theorem for NoSQL databases. You must understand the CAP theorem when you talk about NoSQL databases. You should know in detail about CAP theorem. Or in fact, when designing any of the distributed systems, you should be aware of CAP theorem. It states that there are three basic requirements which exist in special relation when designing applications for a distributed architecture. These are consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. So consistency is just like in RDBMS. This means that the data in the databases remains consistent after the execution of an operation. For example, after an update operation, all clients must see the data in the same form. That is, data should be correct. It should ensure availability, which means that the system is always on. System guarantees availability, no downtime. Server should never be down. If one server gets down, then other server should perform its duties. Then partition tolerance, because we are working in distributed environment, it means we have partitioned it. Then it means that the system continues to function even the communication among the servers is unreliable. That is, the server may be partitioned into multiple groups that cannot communicate with one another. In theoretically, it is impossible to fulfill all the three requirements. So CAP provides the basic requirements for a distributed system to follow two or three of them. Here is a brief description of these three combinations. These three combinations are CA, CP, and AP. CA is consistency and availability. CP is consistency and partitioning tolerance. AP means availability and partition tolerance. So CAP theorem says, if we talk about RDBMS here, if we talk about RDBMS, so if we talk about RDBMS, then it means we are talking about capability and availability. So if we talk about this thing, that is CP, that is consistency and partition tolerance. This is provided by MongoDB, HBase, and Redis. So CA provides the features of RDBMS, and then MongoDB, HBase, and Redis provides CP. CouchDB, Cassandra, DynamoDB, that is DynamoDB was for Amazon. Yeah, exactly, for Amazon. And Riak. These four NoSQL databases provides the features that are AP. So if we talk about CA, then CA is single site cluster Therefore, all nodes are always in contact. It means this is a single node cluster. All nodes are always interconnect. When a partition occurs, the system will block. And CP is some data may not be accessible, but the rest is still consistent and accurate. So when we talk about CP, we are talking about consistency and partition tolerance. It means data is not available. So it says some data may not be accessible, but the rest is still consistent and accurate. If we talk about AP, it means system is still available under partitioning, but some of the data returned may be inaccurate. So AP is periodic, CouchDB, Cassandra, Dynamic, and React. So here we have the base, which says the CAP theorem states that a distributed computer should not guarantee all of the following. So it says we have either CA, CP, or AP. We can have any of these three. So in this case, the base states that basically available. It indicates that the system doesn't guarantee availability in the terms of CAP theorem. Soft state indicates that the state of a system may change over time, even without any input. We have not provided any input, but the system state may change. This is because of the eventual consistency model. Eventual consistency indicates that the system will become consistent over time, given that the system doesn't receive input during that time. So these are the base properties, which are just like we have ACID in SQL and base in NoSQL. So this is a thing which we say is provided in these categories.